Xscape's Latocha Scott is slamming Mona Scott Young for the way that this reality TV show turned out for her. And she's still mentioning Kandi in her interviews, saying that Kandi never really wanted to do new music. I'm passionate about music, no matter if it sells or not. Interesting wording. Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your #1 source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. So we will be live later today to talk about Love is Blind Season 4, including the reunion. More than likely we will probably be doing, because, look, this is not my fault. Because the Love is Blind reunion was delayed until today, I still haven't watched the reunion yet. So give me some time. We'll be live around 6:30 p.m. Eastern. But shout out to Bravo for being shady in regards to their live reunions. They were like, we would never have you waiting for a live reunion. Okay. Well, they haven't done a live reunion in forever. Doing anything live, like what we do on a weekly, almost daily basis, is not easy. And if you've been following us, those things have mishaps too. Not a lot, but anyways. But speaking of mishaps and speaking of Bravo, you know, this is a Monday and we don't have any Real Housewives to talk about, and we don't have the Queens of R&B to talk about. If you missed our recaps of the Queens of R&B over the last 6 weeks, be sure to check those out. It actually was a really good time. I miss it. It's me. Hi. I miss it. I'm the problem. It's me.
I am the 5th member. How about that?
So look, and you guys have told me you want me to keep those sound bites in because they have been useful, because we have quite a few reality stars that are as narcissistic as Latocha Scott. So as you know, Latocha Scott is still on the promo trail for her gospel album. I've been trying to find the sales for this album, and I haven't been able to find them. And if they were anything to brag about, I'm sure she would be bragging about it. But stay tuned. Stay tuned once we find out the official numbers for her new album, her gospel album. Well, in this new radio interview, Latocha is saying that she was sold this reality show. She was hesitant, but she thought that this reality show was going to be about how the music is made, how it is when it comes to putting the music together and touring and things like that. She says that this company, Mona Scott's production company that produces Love and Hip Hop, the entire franchise, She was sold the idea that this was going to be about the music. This was going to be about sisterhood. I'm paraphrasing.
The first question is, will you do another? Is there going to be a part 2 of this reality show?
Not going to be part 2 for me.
You're not.
No, I mean, when you come and you say 2 supergroups are going to be celebrated and it does not end that way, like you got everybody beefing on social media. The nerve of a black production company with Mona Me coming in and not celebrating black women. It's just tearing down, and the whole time, out of 7 women, I was being attacked every single day. So it's just that thing for me, like when you say you're going to do something, we should be able to do it. And I think the fans have been slighted, you know, and shame on her, shame on the production for doing that. We didn't get to a tour, we didn't get to music. I said, did I have reservations? Of course I did. But when she started to say, hey, we're going to celebrate y'all going to do a tour, we're going to talk about how you do a show, how you got to do the wardrobe and the music. I'm like, that's beautiful, because sometimes you do have banter back and forth with that. But when you come in and I'm being attacked every day and it never got to the music, it's like, what was this all about? And none of the things that happened until we started filming. None of the craziness. So it's like, was it a setup? What do we do this for?
She says that's exactly not what it ended up being. I ended up being attacked on social media week after week. Here's the thing. A couple of things in regards to this. First of all, I don't go to Jerry Springer for an Oprah kind of interview. You already know Mona Scott Young is the creator and executive producer behind Love and Hip Hop. Okay? So I'm just saying, in all reality here, I don't go to Mona Scott if there's a certain particular idea that I have, unless that's the idea I want. If I want a Love and Hip Hop, and I'm not saying that the Queens of R&B was Love and Hip Hop. It really wasn't. But I'm just going to put that out there. Then here's the other thing. Latocha, you're blaming Mona Scott Young for your family business being exposed. You shouldn't be blaming her. You should be blaming yourself. You should be blaming Rocky. And not that you need to blame Tamika. She was telling her truth. But Tamika's the one who brought it up on the show. She was the one. So because they chose to keep that in, you have tried to find someone to blame every single week since this reality show premiered. Every single week, you have tried to find someone to blame instead of taking any sort of ownership yourself. And you're still denying, oh, I have my receipts too in regards to Tamika. We're still waiting on your receipts. Tamika shared hers. And you remember in those receipt videos, she showed the receipt where Latocha's name was there as well. Rocky's signature was there. And Tamika also revealed that Latocha's Gosepl album was actually supposed to be their album. And yes, Latocha said that, yes, this was supposed to be a duo album. But according to Tamika, you stole that as well. She came to find out, oh, I guess I'm no longer a part of this Gosepl project. So you stole that as well? Not the Gosepl album you're stealing.
Now the world knows that you are a liar that is doing a gospel album. Thief. Stealing from the church, stealing from your sister, stealing my identity. But what you won't do is steal my pride. Go ahead. Leak the tape that you said you lost. Go ahead. Embarrass your niece. Go ahead. Because you really don't care nothing about them because you would have never stole for them in the beginning. Go ahead. And watch what God does. God don't play about me.
As you also know, and we saw it on countless interviews and on the Queens of R&B, for some reason, there is something about Kandi that is so triggering to Latocha that she constantly brings her up at every turn.
I'm definitely a part of Xscape. I created the name. That's the mothership. That's where I come from. I will never forget where I come from. But it's time for me to do music. I've always wanted to do music. I know Kandi didn't want to do music because she always felt like if we didn't surpass what we did in the beginning, then don't do it. But when I'm doing music, it's never predicated on sales. It's because I'm passionate about what I do. So the other girls was like, no, we, don't fall victim to what she's saying. I want to do music. So that's why I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah.
And even if you don't like Kandi and you see this play out over the last few weeks, you're like, look, I'm not a big fan of Kandi, but you always are bringing her up.
Even when she was wrong.
Maybe you are a big fan. So in this conversation, she says, for me, this project, I've always wanted to do music. I've always wanted to do new music. Sidebar. Is Tamika working on solo music? There's this video footage of her and Method Man dancing. It looked like they're filming something. Good for Tamika. She's finding her voice, and I'm happy for her. So she brings up in this whole situation.
Kandi never wanted to do new music because she's like, if we can't pass what we used to do.
And that does sound like Kandi. And to me, it makes sense. Look, SWV is just now talking about doing new music, but originally when Coco was asked about new music from SWV, she's like, why should we do new music? You guys aren't buying it. So it makes sense. They make more money touring versus going into a studio and trying to create an album only for you guys not to support it. And we said that because when everyone was saying, well, we have a lot of social media followers and that puts people in the seats. But that also doesn't translate to record sales. So if anything, Kandi's actually really smart by not putting out new music because it's just like, you guys aren't going to buy it. It's also not lucrative for recording artists anymore, which is unfortunate because that makes the people that you love, they don't want to do new music because it's just not financially sound for them. But Latocha makes it seem like I've always wanted to do new music. Latocha, you got a solo album almost 30 years ago that was shelved. Since then, I did an interview when you did Bad Timing with you, but since then, you really haven't released anything since. Or at least tried, because in this day and age, you didn't need a label to put out new music. And you already have the name, the group name. Sidebar, she says, she does confirm that she's still part of Xscape. She says that I came up with the name. I don't know the ownership of that name, if they have an intellectual property for that name. I don't know the business side. Kandi, can you speak on it to clarify on the business side of who owns the name? Do you guys own the name as a group? But you do recall when Latocha, Tamika, and Tiny were touring, they had to use the name Xscape 3. But now that Kandi's a part of it and Latocha's out, they're using just the name Xscape. Impact. When you think about it, who does better business so far based on what I'm seeing? But anyways, back to this. So Latocha, you had the name recognition, you had your former group, and you had Rocky, who's been in the industry for a very long time, and no matter who he's associated with, he still has connections, he still has a name, he still has the business sense. Is it the right business sense? Not necessarily, but you could have still put out music independently. You didn't have to wait for a Motown gospel. I wonder if there will be a second album. I already told you, I feel like Latocha, as you guys like to call her, has lied to so many people, including Motown Gospel, because based off the songs that I heard, this doesn't sound like a gospel album, not even a modern gospel album. It sounds like straight up R&B. Guys, as always, I want to know your reaction to Latocha's new interview. Everything she's saying about, she's blaming Mona Scott Young, she's blaming Kandi, she's blaming all of us. No sort of accountability. Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section. And as always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. It's me. Thanks for watching.